Jake hid on the rooftop, employees in attention, and quietly took the security company boss's suit. He replaced the buttons with cameras, then carefully put the suit back in its original place. The next day the boss wore the suit into the vault, but he had no idea. Every move he made was being watched by Jake. The boss enthusiastically introduced the security system to the client, and said the place was extremely safe. Not only did one need to verify their palm print, but also required the identification of the supervisor's voice. Only when both conditions were met would the vault door open. After getting the information they started to act. Jake and Eddie posed as police officers to get into the auction. While the boss was chatting with the client, Jake deliberately pretended to lose his balance and spilled red wine on the boss's suit, then took the chance to wipe it off, and quietly retrieved the button cameras. The next day they followed the boss to the gym. After the boss finished working out, Jake quickly used plastic film to lift the palm print from the handle. Then he hacked into the communication system. In this way they successfully obtained the supervisor's voice. That night they went to the subway tunnel next to the vault, then used a rangefinder to find the exact location of the vault. Jake used a cutter to slice through the concrete outer wall, then drilled 2 small holes in it, and inserted 2 specially made expansion bolts. Once the bolts were fully locked in place, he then pulled hard. Weighing several tons fell down with a crash. The 2 slipped into the security company through the hole. To avoid being discovered, they covered the hole with a poster, then snuck into the control room, hacked into the entire surveillance system using high-tech equipment, then timed the security shift change perfectly, and set the surveillance feed inside the vault to a still image. In this way the 2 walked openly to the vault. Jake put on rubber gloves printed with the boss's palm print, and easily passed the first verification. At the same time, Eddie played the recording of the supervisor's voice, and the second verification was also successfully passed. Soon the vault door slowly opened, but before the 2 could celebrate, they found the corridor was filled with infrared detectors. Fortunately, they had come prepared.
Jake knelt down on a skateboard,
and Eddie instructed Jake to move forward slowly. Jake finally reached the designated position. He carefully removed the jamming device, then gently pushed it forward.
Next Eddie pressed the switch.
The moment the device was activated, all the infrared rays in the corridor disappeared. Now only one final step remained to get into the vault. First the 2 drilled a small hole in the steel door, then inserted a telescopic probe into it. Eddie used the probe to observe the structure of the internal gears, then told Jake which number to press. With their tacit cooperation, the first 7 digits were quickly entered, but Eddie wasn't sure about the last one. At this point only 12 minutes were left until evacuation time. Jake didn't have time to hesitate. He pressed the number 9 directly. To his surprise he actually got it right. The 2 quickly turned the handle, and the vault door was finally opened successfully. Looking at those priceless antiques, they showed no interest at all, because their target was an egg. At that moment a wooden box caught their attention.
Eddie used a hammer to smash the glass,
then carefully took the box out of it. When he opened it, it was indeed that egg. But before he could celebrate, Jake pointed a gun at the back of his head. Jake told him to hand over the box. After getting it, Jake quickly left the vault
and locked Eddie inside.
Soon the police arrived at the scene, and successfully arrested Eddie. No one knew. This was all part of Eddie's plan.